They said, "They treated you horribly." I heard myself say, "But they were kind sometimes." 3 good memories tumbled out in seconds. My hand opened the photo folder, searching for proof. A snapshot from a Sunday in July, their laugh half caught. After the wound, you signed a hidden contract. Seeing it is the first step toward healing, a freedom you never expected. It might not be about them. It's a silent deal. You're suffering for a story that makes the pain mean something. The text draft. I just want to understand. Deleted at 2:13. Typed again. Deleted. You didn't stay because weak. You stayed because leaving meant admitting the love was a lie. And so you defended them. You remembered the way they touched your face one evening in May. That memory overrode the winter of silence and fear. That's the deal. Your loyalty might not be about them, a deal you forgot signing, a cost greater than the hurt. A friend says, they knew exactly what they were doing to you. And the words land like a thrown stone. But you don't feel relief. You feel something closer to fear, a sudden protective urge to explain them away. You list their childhood wounds, lost job, the one time they were kind. Your voice rises slightly, as if you're convincing yourself more than them. You catch the flicker of disbelief in their eyes. You ignore. Inside, a quiet voice whispers, "They're right," and you swallow it. And maybe you are. You've edited the wound until it looks like a scar that's already healed. The late night texts that left you feeling unworthy. The 12 unanswered calls. You filed them under, they were struggling. The 3 times you watched their car pull away and told yourself they were just lost. You can't afford to remember accurately, because if you did, you'd have to feel what that suffering was really worth. You're not protecting them. You're protecting the you who needed the pain to mean something. The answer lies in a silent deal you made long before you even knew you were negotiating. And the currency was your pain. 3 days after they abandoned you, you say, they were struggling, not cruel. It feels like love, but it's a reflex. Admitting the cruelty would mean the pain was pointless. I stayed because I was afraid. You catch yourself editing the story in real time. The cruelty becomes a rough patch. The distance becomes they needed space. You dig out their old sweater. The wool still holds the hurt. Almost 7 months. You monitor your own memories. You block out the 2 a.m. silences. You keep a list. 3 apologies, 1 face hold. You magnify the one night they brought you tea to feel safe. It's a silent deal you struck without even knowing. Your loyalty for the story that makes the pain worth it. The story is the only thing that makes the wound bearable. But protecting their story makes you lose sight of who's trapped. And it's not them. And it's not them. 14 months. You've counted every day. 487 messages sent. 23 received. You kept the score because numbers made the pain measurable, and measurable felt bearable. But there's another tally you never took. The cost of making that pain makes sense. Every time they disappeared, you deposited another hurt into a story called "They Were Wounded, Not Cruel." Every time they returned like nothing happened, you added interest, extra hours replaying their smile to pay down the doubt. The story became a loan you kept taking out against your future peace, secured by memories you edited. Each time you forgave a cruelty, you invested more credibility. You were saving up for a future where they finally chose you, a future that would redeem all the past. You catch yourself telling a friend, they didn't mean it, they were just scared. And you watch their face fall. They know you're spending your own trust on a debt that was never yours. You almost said it. You were about to admit the whole thing was a lie you needed more than oxygen. The real cost was invisible. You stopped believing you deserved a partner who stayed. You started expecting the pain, so you stopped being surprised. That's when you traded your safety for the story. And the scariest part? You started seeing their distance as a sign of depth, and your own need for closeness as a weakness. You weren't weak. You were holding onto a story that kept you from shattering into a version of yourself you were afraid to meet. And at night, your body kept the score. The tightened chest when their name lit up the screen. The way you still held your breath for 3 seconds after a door closed, just in case. You realized one day that the story hurt more than they ever did. The narrative you protected had started to bend your life around a ghost who wasn't even there anymore. You lost friends over it. You stopped telling them the whole story because you couldn't bear the pity in their eyes. The story had become a second job, editing, excusing, explaining. You were exhausted, but you couldn't rest because the story would collapse. Yet you still defended them, because stopping meant admitting all that love, all that waiting, all that rewriting was just pain without purpose. They almost called. They almost called once, and you built an entire future on the echo of the dial tone. But the question you haven't dared to ask is what happens when the cost of that loyalty exceeds the pain you already survived. You've listed their good moments 1,472 times for 15 different people in the past year. You'd think it's about forgiveness or hope, but it's not. You made a deal, a silent, desperate swap. Your unprocessed pain in exchange for a story where you weren't just wounded, you were strong enough to understand. Defending them became the only way to keep that story breathing. Because if they were simply cruel, then every tear, every 3 a.m. message you never sent was for nothing. And that's a fear bigger than losing them. It's losing the version of you that survived. That version kept you safe. That story made the pain mean something. It turned abandonment into a lesson, rejection into proof of your depth. So when someone says they were toxic, your whole body tenses. Not for them, for you. You're not protecting them. You're protecting the one person whose story makes your past bearable. The betrayal wasn't just theirs. It's the betrayal of the story you built to house the hurt. That's the hidden deal, seared into memory at 4 a.m. on the floor of your empty apartment. But here's the relief. You weren't weak. You were just trying to hold yourself together without losing the meaning that kept you going. They were never the point. Now that you see the deal, the question changes from, why do I defend them, to, what am I afraid would fall apart if I stopped? You start the story the way you always do, with their kindness. But your hand stops before the second sentence. You've sent the draft text to your own number 14 times, just to see which words make them seem less absent. But the story isn't true. You open the drawer with their letters, 9 months untouched. You lift one, feel its weight, then put it back. Not hidden, stored. A year ago, you'd list their good moments, 17 in total. Now you let the number sit, no longer counting, no longer needing them to add up to anything. They hurt you. You stop reshaping their face into a tragedy. They were just a person who left. Tomorrow, you'll start a new notebook. Not to understand them, to remember what you did for the first 23 days after. How you walked until the street lamps went off. How you learned to make coffee for one. Some nights, you'll still reach for the old story. You'll open the journal and see their names staring back. That's not failure. That's the vulnerable path. Healing doesn't mean forgetting the love was real. It means finally letting that love be their story, not yours. You are not disloyal. But there's one final twist in the paradox, and it brings us right back to where we started. Hear me out. A friend says again, they were cruel. You almost start listing the kindnesses, but this time you hesitate. You've said they were kind, 47 times. You no longer trust the script, and you see it. You weren't defending them. You were bargaining your pain into meaning for 2,107 hours. That was the deal. To stop defending them meant facing that the suffering had no purpose, that you were just shattered, not transformed. But tonight, you don't write they were broken. You leave the page blank, a surrender. And in that vulnerable silence, the fear loosens. You don't have to make them a monster or a martyr, just the pain. And the pain becomes yours. Not a debt they owe, but a wound you carry until it heals into a scar. The scar is not a story. It's just the place where the bleeding stopped.